Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, great to see you everybody. It's a wonderful afternoon, and before we start our program of International Science Talking, so let we open our program by saying Al-Fatihah together. Al-Fatihah. Okay. Honorable for K. Haji Ahmad Hidayat, as the Director of BP Al-Aqoba, and Honorable for Mr. Masudullah, for Director of International Aqoba International School, and respectable for all ICE teacher and all of the teacher from Aqoba, for 1 and 3 and 4, and respectable to. And then in this afternoon, we are going to do the event, scientific talking about from our beloved students and also this amazing zoo. Okay, and then before I start, I will show our scientific will be start from the beloved children first. Okay, and will be held by Quincha, Fatima, and Nina by the title from copying to healing, making the translation. Okay. For the honorable student, please give applause to Quincha.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, everyone. Here I am Queen and I am Dora, standing in front of you all to present our analysis on an article by S.Pd about mental health and how to help from the issue. But before that, how is everything going? It is good or bad?
Alhamdulillah, wonderful. Because I can stay here watching you all.
What do you feel right now?
Really good times of your face.
Your favorite answer, so. English speaking.
It is exhausted, lazy, busy, or stressed, or maybe even gets depressed. Maybe this is what to say what are you feel right now.
So.
Yeah, because it is like sit here to see you guys. They like means they expect to press. Oh, I see. Sorry. There is one example of a program related to our mental health that is presented in this video. Let's pay attention to this video.
Oh, you're not trying to video.
Dari sini dong, dari masyarakat. Kasar.
Bukan, apa jalan Indonesia? Apa?
Is this gonna last forever? I don't have the energy for people, friends. I don't have energy at all. I fell out of love with everything, and I convinced myself that everyone fell out of love with me. I'm a disappointment. I don't belong. I'm unwanted and not needed. Nobody understands me. I don't even understand myself.
We can see that the man is isolating from his friend. He did not know about himself and he did not know about himself and others. Alright, so after listening to Miss Uswa's story and from the video, we can understand that we are actually very close to mental issue, just like physical issue. That's why in this occasion we will present an article titled From Coping to Healing, Making the Transition, an article by S.Pd 2020 from Zuhrotun.com. I'm sure everyone already got their blank paper on the table, right?
Yes.
With all due respect, please write down one of your mental issues that you currently feel right now. This one is enough.
Yes.
We can deny that each of us will have our problem. 10% say that everyone has mental health, just like everyone has physical health. Not everyone will experience mental illness, but everyone will have periods of time when they struggle with their mental well-being from time to time. Thus, when some of us are struggling with our mental well-being, we must be ready with your coping mechanisms. Coping mechanism is strategies people often use. Coping mechanism is strategies people often use in the face of stress and trauma to help manage painful or difficult emotions. Okay, back again to our paper. What did you do to cope so far? I'm sorry to ask you once again to write it down, yeah, Miss Sister. is done. Excuse me, Mr. Zahir, could you please tell us what did you do to cope with your problem?
I just talk to my partner.
Thank you, Mr. for sharing. In fact, there are two types of coping mechanisms. There are adaptive, when we use coping mechanism in moderation. For example, gardening, reading book, listening music, painting, or word of example. And meanwhile, maladaptive coping mechanism is when we rely on too much influence, harmful substance or impulsivity. For example, venting, drinking alcohol, or eating junk food, and overcrying. So, after doing the coping mechanism, do you think that you are getting better?
No.
How about Mr. Abdul?
Yes, I'm getting it.
Thank you, sir. Well, actually, if we haven't felt better after doing the coping mechanism, it means we are not healed yet. Right? Anyone else?
Yes. Someone. Wait.
It is because coping is actually different from healing. So, what are the differences? Coping is work temporarily, but healing work long term. And coping allows us to just barely survive. Meanwhile, healing allows us to thrive. And coping acts as bandage, but healing acts as antidote. Coping quickly fixes that exacerbates our symptoms, but healing brings growth and change. Why is healing so important? Because learning to heal can help us work through our issues, improve our quality of life, to get to the root of the problem. The rewards of healing are plentiful and way worth the work. There are many types of healing mechanisms that people do. For example, firstly is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the basic human ability to be fully present, aware of where we are and what we are doing, and not only reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. Secondly, is setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is a form of self-care. It helps to create a clear, quick line or rule or limit of how you would like to be treated. Thirdly, is identifying your needs and expressing them. Understanding our needs often brings some sense of life because we have greater clarity in our life. The fourth is introspection. So the examination or observation of our mental and emotional processes.
This is when we keep checking and recheck our mental.
The last but not least is gratitude journaling. The habit of recording and reflecting on things that you are grateful for on a regular basis. Speaking of gratitude journaling, I have started about that. In my instant group, Nisa gives us a jar happiness and they tell us to write our happiness in this day. In fact, there are a lot more. It's like meditation or yoga for routine. Like what is Miss Nana do is also one of healing mechanisms.
To succeed in our healing mechanism, there are so many basic principles of healing that we must follow. They are acceptance, gratitude, patience, forgiveness, and mindfulness.
This is the last time we ask you to again write down on paper after we knew the healing mechanism and how important it is for our mental well-being. Please everyone write down your healing plan. Okay, excuse me, Miss Farah. Could you please share what your healing plan with us?
I'm really trafficking. Maybe I will do my yoga.
You can do that.
Well, thank you, Miss.
Alright, healing is hard, but it is worth it. Be patient with yourself and the process. You are worth the time and effort of growing and building a life you can love, not just tolerate. Thank you for your next attention. Please consider the paper is a gift for us, from us. I'm sorry if I mistake. And let's say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you very much, Samila and Sue. Wow, that's a great information about mental illness and how to rescue about the mental illness. Okay, wow, that's great. Maybe I will give one chance to the teachers in here to ask about our children's presentations. Anyone, maybe? Okay, so if I ask Mr. Milan here for asking your question, and could you make to come over, Mr.
That's on your presentation, can be applied. So, the problems of
topic of mental illness in your life. Given the problem of mental illness, and have you applied the solution of this presentation? Have you applied in your life? Okay, I think enough. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Zaid, for your beautiful question. Mr. Zaid.
So, for Fadila who answer the questions. Aku review.
Like 10% say that in fluency.
Next or back.
Like 10% said, everyone has mental health, just like everyone has physical health. Not everyone will experience mental illness, but everyone will have periods of time when they struggle with their mental well-being from time to time. Of course, yeah. Of course, yeah.
And then,
What is the solution?
what did you do? Tell your story.
Maybe I will doing the coping mechanism first, after that healing. Like slide 2. Like slide 2, there are maladaptive and adaptive. And maladaptive itu like wrong. So wrong. I will doing the coping mechanism. Like butuh cafe, but that is only just coping, not healing. I think I just ever coping, ever healing, because I just listen music, read book, and then go to cafe, play with my friends.
Okay, thank you very much for our lecturers and Neil their answers from this question. So, Alhamdulillah, we have made some of the first presentations and we'll go to the next presentation. We have Miss Nisa as an ICT practical teacher will be presenting about how school build community resilience, capacity and social capital and disaster preparedness, response and recovery. For the time, please return to Ms.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Kiai Haji Ahmad Hidayat, Honorable Haji Ahmad Zulfikri, and all of the teachers, and also the audience both in Zoom meeting or in this lobby. Before I complete my presentation, I would like to say thank you to the moderator, Mr. Shahir, to give me this great opportunity. So today, I would like to deliver my presentation about how to build community resilience capacity in disaster preparedness, response, and recovery from the schools. And this study is written by March 2023. Okay. Today we're going to discuss about something maybe unpredictable, but so familiar, so close to us. Maybe some of people think it's far, but it's close to us. And we cannot, if we cope in it, we cannot do any work except we face it and be prepared for it. And it's called disaster. First, before I play this video, have you ever imagined being in a situation, panic situation, or frightening situation that made you like panic because of maybe a windstorm and then adjust above your face? Have you ever imagined being in that situation? In some kind of disaster situation?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What do you think? What do you do in this place today? In this moment, we face with earthquake and then the ceiling fall down. What do you feel? Please, maybe give me some of your opinion, your feeling. Miss Farah.
Very fun. Just like my nama saya mau bilang. I'm gonna die. I feel like you're gonna die. And no one knows. No one can find me. I will be there alone. So sad, depressing, mental health. I think we're doing this. It's terrible, right? It's terrible being in a panicking situation, fighting situation because of disaster. So the one thing that we can do is to be resilient. Let's watch this video.
All across northern Japan, they felt it. A fire, magnitude 9.0 earthquake on March 11, 2011. It was centered about 80 miles offshore, and tsunami warnings went up immediately. In coastal cities, people knew what to do next: run to higher ground. It's from these vantage points on hills and in tall buildings that incredible footage was captured. In Kesanuma, people retreated to a high-rise rooftop and could only watch in horror as tsunami waves inundated their city, knocking buildings into rubble and mixing into a kind of tsunami soup filled with vehicles, building parts, and contents.
Disaster indeed far from us. We feel like it is far from us. But if we think it can be happen anytime and anywhere. And there's no other option unless we have to be resilient. Okay, why do we have to be resilient? The first is because the disaster event is all of sudden. We cannot predict when it will be happen. We cannot predict when we can cope in it, but it will be happen to us if we are not prepared. And then second, we feel like we face unexpected situations like family loss, maybe, or damage in our home, and other losses cause of disaster. And the third condition is disaster will cause a lot of damage. Maybe home, society, and settlement. We will lose our settlement. And then, who can rescue us during disaster event? Based on COVID survey, on survivor rescue percentage, 35% of survivors think that the one who can rescue themselves is only themselves. The one that can rescue us from disaster is only ourselves. It means we have to be prepared whenever disasters happen. Okay, Nisa, okay. Okay, next, let's take a look at base picture. Based on disaster risk management paradigm, there are three main variables of disaster risk management. The first is hazard, uncontrollable hazard, and then the second, vulnerable condition, and the third is human capacity. What's the difference between three of those things? The first, uncontrollable hazard, is a harm or hazard that we cannot control it. We cannot predict when it will be happen and how big the impact, intensity of this hazard. And then the second, vulnerable condition, it can be society vulnerable, like social vulnerable, and then construction vulnerable, condition that can make the hazard or the risk is bigger than before. So for example, if we have home with like poor construction, so it means we have vulnerable construction of our home. And when the earthquake happens next to our home, the poor construction will collapse and make us like harm and injury. And then the third, human capital or human capacity. What does it mean by human capacity? So human capacity is an ability of person to cope with disaster, to prepare with disaster and face it by a good response. So from this formula, we cannot increase or decrease the intensity of hazard, but we cannot change the vulnerability and capacity. Because if we increase the vulnerability, or if the vulnerability is high, for example, if the construction of settlement is poor, it can be increase the risk of the disaster. But we cannot decrease the intensity of hazard because we don't know when it will be happen and how big the impact of the hazard. And the third, the capacity. We can increase it or just let it low. If the capacity of people, human capacity is low, it means the people cannot cope with disaster and they cannot rescue themselves if the disaster comes. So the high level of capacity will decrease the disaster risk. And the next, resilient community. We can start from the vulnerable group. We can pay attention to the vulnerable group. And then, who are the vulnerable group? The first is children and elder age. And then the second, low-income family. The third is woman or pregnant woman. And then the fourth is disability. Why those of group called by vulnerable, social vulnerable or vulnerable group? Because the first, children and elder, for the first children, the children is the future of our generation. So it's important to us to give drilling to them to cope well with disaster. And if the children cannot rescue themselves from the hazard, it means they need help from other people. And we cannot always rely on someone to help us during disaster because everyone will run and rescue themselves in spite of helping others. And then the elderly age as well. They need help to rescue themselves. So to build resilient community, we have to make more people can rescue themselves and then can rescue us. So we can rescue a lot of people, including elderly age. And then low-income family is also vulnerable because they cannot easily get back to stable economy after disaster. And then women and pregnant, as well as disability, they cannot rescue themselves. It's hard for them to rescue themselves during disaster. They need help from other people to rescue and avoid the harm of disaster. Okay, next let's take a look at the this graphic. From this chart, we know that in Indonesia, we have a big portion of adult, and 25 and 6% of youngster and elder. In this study, we have to pay attention to youngsters because the youngsters is the future of our generation. And then the capacity, the ability of youngsters, the resilience of youngsters, it can be increase our disaster management, disaster risk management. So resilience is ability, and the ability is needs deep understanding. So we have to understand together what is resilient. So what is resilient? The resilient means condition or ability of people that the people be able to understand the environment condition. When the person is resilient, they can understand well the condition of their environment. They can understand why in her country or in his country is prone to disaster. And then the second, the person be able to mitigate potential hazard. After they know very well what happened, what the environmental condition, what the natural condition of their country, they can mitigate, try to mitigate the potential hazards, such as building a strong foundation for the construction, and then drilling to be more increasing the capacity. And then the third, when the person is resilient, they can manage to protect themselves as well as to rescue the family or acquaintance. So the resilient people can rescue themselves and can rescue the other. So the more resilient people, the more person that we can rescue during disaster event. And then the resilient people can adapt and prepare the possible disaster event. And then the last, the resilient people can easily survive and get back to the real life, get back to the activity after disaster. And then in this study aims to highlight this one, how the school can take action, take a big part to build resilient community. How the school can enhance the resilience of people. Okay. School have a big role, a big part as an integral of community. Because in school there are many students that will come back to their family and will communicate what they get in the school to their family. And then the second, the school can prepare the student to cope well and to manage well during the disaster event. They can increase their preparedness and mitigation to face the disaster. And then the third, the school can be the main point or the community group to recovery and to response during disaster. It means the school can be the place, the safe place for students and then school community and surrounding people to rescue themselves and be safe inside the school. Okay, we'll discuss the role of the school in increasing disaster resilient community based on this phase. There are three phases of disaster management. The first is preparation and mitigation. The second is response during disaster event, and post-disaster event, we have recovery. Okay, for the first, mitigation and preparedness. Okay, the school role in this step, in this stage, is the first to enhance the understanding of the student how the condition of their region, how the condition of their society, how the condition of their nature, their geological background through the education. So the teacher can give information to the student how the condition of their country, why our country is prone to disaster. And then after they know, the second role is to construct and provide safety building. As we know, safety building is important to have safe community because poor construction, poor building will bring us to more disaster after effect. And then the third, the school can arrange emergency plan or the plan that will be used during disaster event. So during disaster event, we are not only evacuate the victim to the other place, to the safety place, but also we need to make emergency plan. And through school community, we can make a proper and good emergency plan, such as where we should build a shelter, and then where should we build public kitchen for the victim, and how the way to evacuate the victim to the shelter. And then the third, to conduct disaster drilling based on the disaster background. Maybe as for Indonesia, we're proud of many disasters such as earthquake and like hydrometeorological disaster such as drought and flood and etc. So the drilling is about that disaster. In Indonesia, commonly we find drilling about earthquake and also a flood. Okay, in this illustration, we can know the practice disaster drill in Japan and also New Zealand. So this one is the program from New Zealand's government. It calls check out. The drilling is to make kindergarten and elementary school students to be prepared from earthquake. And then that one is Japan drill. And then this video is about
disaster drills took place in various parts of Japan with a focus on escaping the dangers of tsunami. The United Nations has designated November 5th as World Tsunami Awareness Day. The drills were based on a scenario that a major earthquake hits along the Nankai Trough in the Pacific. The drills included evacuating from a train to a hill. At an elementary school, university students taught children how to run away from tsunami. At a disaster response base in Osaka Prefecture, about 700 people, including police officers and firefighters, took part in a drill. They held a training using a helicopter to rescue someone who has been washed away to the sea. They also removed rubble to create a path for delivering goods.
Okay, disaster drill in Japan happens every month because they know that their country is prone to disaster, especially earthquake and tsunami. Okay, next, emergency response. So the school can take role in emergency response to help to become the first responder. It means the school community can help other people to rescue others, either the student or staff or surrounding people around the school. And then the second, handling loss and damage based on the disaster. And then taking care of the community, not only So this one is school-based emergency response in Indonesia and Iran. So this one is the school that can be placed for public kitchen or dapur umum. In this public kitchen, the student and also the teacher can help the government to manage the meal or the main need for the victims. And then the second is building a shelter around the school. And then the third is post-disaster event. So what can school do after disaster? The first, the school can provide entertainment, game, or counseling in order to heal the trauma after disaster. And then the second, to rebuild the settlement with good or better construction. And then the third, to encourage the student to get back easily after disaster. After they heal from trauma post-disaster, they can get back to the school activity. Okay, this one is the picture of the trauma healing in post-Palu disaster. So there are dongeng activity telling. Okay, and then they can do like counseling to know and to cope the trauma after disaster. And the last, preparation through education is less costly than learning through tragedy. So we can be prepared, or we cannot do anything and we can get in a bad situation after disaster. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, maybe let's discussion.
Very much. So it was about president of the covering disaster sector. So there are several ways to recover disaster set, and one of them is vulnerable condition, is creating the condition of elder age, also the people and pregnant women. So this is the focus. So maybe any question from teacher or maybe the viewer in the Zoom. Zoom. Maybe.
You can send me to some in
Okay, this question from Ustad Paki about how please provide more explanation, especially regarding the problem of learning loss due to the COVID pandemic disaster.
yeah.
Client statements. Okay, this is two questions. For the first is 5% concepts. Does the successful implementation building on the distance learning community necessarily requires certain terms and conditions? For the first and the second, how to motivate expressions learning goals to the COVID pandemic. Okay, this is to give you natural resources.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Paki, for the question. For the first, does the successful implementation in building a resilient working community necessarily require certain terms or conditions? The successful implementation of the resilient community building is need support from stakeholders, not only from the staff of the school, but also the other like NGO and the governmental policies. And then to become resilient, we must start from ourselves first. We have to understand how the condition of our country, what can make our country prone to the disaster, and how to solve it, how to overcome the panic situation during disaster. And then please provide more in-depth explanation. This is really very important. Okay. Actually, the rule of school for being to enhance resilient community, yes, we can also apply in pandemic, because pandemic is one of the main disasters. Okay, so for the learning loss during pandemic, we need to make sure that our students can understand well about the lesson, and then they have to keeping themselves safe by learning from home, and to make sure them can accept the lesson very well. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's all for the question. Thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you, Anila and Puri. So thank you very much for that. So I think that's enough for our presentation for this afternoon. Thank you very much. So let's close our presentation. Our events to program of ICE International Scientific Talk. We will say Giving the reward will given by Ms. Nila for the centers.